Hello, new video of Dynasty War, and today I want to talk about the equipment set. Before that, I want to just talk about equipment. Okay, there is 6 equipment slots, so you will have to gather and craft your 6 different equipment. And because the equipment set requires equipments in 2 and 4s, so what that means is it's not very beneficial to get all 6 equipment of the same set because the last 2 equipment doesn't yield you any skill. In fact, what that really means is every 2 equipment can give you a set skill if you pick the right equipment. And we're going to go over that today. So let's jump over there. Now, although I have astrologian in this account, I'm not going to talk about him first. I'm actually going to talk about the Sharpshooter first. That is because I have her. I have a Sharpshooter in one of my main accounts, and I'm using it a lot. So I have more idea, and I've looked into those skill set more than the astrologist. Okay, so in this video I'll talk about the Sharpshooter, and then probably next video I'll talk about the warrior, and then the last video I'll talk about the astrologist. Anyways, let's get started because it's going to be a longer video. There's 8 sets of equipment, 4 for active skill, 4 for passive skill. So there will be a lot of info in here. That's why I had to split up the 3 videos. Okay, the first set for the Sharpshooter is the ruler set. The ruler set, the first skill gives you a 50% shield, 50% HP shield when you use the skill. And then the second skill gives you additional damage up to 80% depending on how close your lord is to the ring, to the target. It seems like this is a very Glass Canyon build, and that is why the first skill give you a shield that is 50% of his or her own HP, so that they don't just die immediately because you try to get them very, very close to enemy. So the only issue or the only uncertainty in this set right now is the fact that we don't know how close your lord has to be in order to get the 80% damage. Or in fact, we don't even know how close your lord has to be to start to get some damage, because what it seems like, you can get 10% extra, 20%, 50%. I mean, getting 50% extra damage on the main skill, on the active skill, I will be okay with that too, but I need to know how far I have to be. So in order to use this one effectively, you need to know the range, and you need to have a way to bring your lord in and then use the skill. Getting the 50% shield, it's great for survivability because your lord is not a very bad hero. Your lord actually is probably more superior than most of your other hero in terms of HP and DPS. Now, Sharpshooter is an archer lord, so he or she will tend to be, they will have the lowest HP comparing to the other lords in the same level and the same equipment level. But even with that in mind, they are still probably better than most of your other hero in terms of HP and DPS. So having them survive and keep doing damage is a good thing. The next one, Azure. This is a very, very interesting skill set skills, because it's not a new mechanic, but no other hero or anything can give you this. Once you use your skill, your normal attack will scatter to 2 additional enemies. Basically, splash damage. It's like Tiger Warrior splash damage. I think that's what it is. So the thing is, how far will this damage scatter to? Because this is for 15 seconds, normal attack. As I said earlier, your lord is not a weak hero. It's not a troop. His or her DPS is going to be pretty high. So scattering to 2 extra target is very great, especially if you're, one-on-oneing their enemy hero, or even structures, or anything. If you use if you probably, when you use her skill or his skill, see, it's very difficult. I don't know if your lord is going to be a he or her, or he or she. But anyways, when you use your lord skill, they are probably inside or close to an enemy, close to an enemy hero, close to something. That's why you use the skill. And then you will probably be fighting them anyways by auto attack, a normal attack. So having this basically multiply your damage by 3. You have 2 extra targets. Your DPS is not 1 DPS anymore. It's 3 times of that. You're hitting 3 targets at the same time. Because the scatter damage does not get reduced. When does it get reduced? Well, what other hero has their scatter damage reduced? Crescent's Awakening skill reduces the splash damage to 30%. Zhao Yun's Awakening skill reduces the splash damage to 60%. So that's a case when your splash damage get reduced, but obviously because those are skill, they do way too much damage. But if you think about it, throughout the 15 seconds, your Lord can do way more damage than that because your Lord can easily have 500 damage, 500 DPS, right? 3 times of that is 1500 DPS. Now, not applied to the same target, but applied to 3 different targets. And then the second skill, you can your normal attack freezes enemy. That also applies to the scatter damage. So you're freezing 3 targets and doing a lot of damage for 15 seconds. If you're hitting heroes, you're definitely killing them. 15 seconds, technically 16 seconds, because the auto attack at the 15th second will freeze for 1 extra second. So for the next 16 seconds, you basically can destroy 3 things for sure. If 3 heroes are charging at you, they will die for sure. Okay? I mean, most likely they'll die unless your lord is very weak and they are the only person attacking them. So no matter if it's attacking enemy hero, enemy structures, this is very, very strong because it's a very control utility skill. Okay, you can stop enemy and do extra damage. The next set is Soul, which allows your main skill to have 1 more target. Very good skill. I think a lot of people will at least take the first set of Soul because the active skill currently only attacks 3 targets. Having an extra target, it's basically a 33% increase in damage output. So very, very useful too. Increasing the cast range by 20% and blinds enemy for 10 seconds, which causes enemy hero's normal attack to not deal any damage. Very confusing skill. Now, increasing the range is not very important, I think, because 20% is not a lot. I mean, increasing the skill range for most hero is very pointless. I think I've talked about this in multiple videos before, because you have to be, for example, if your skill is 10 tile right now, 20% is only 2 more tile. If your skill is 20 tiles, the extra 20% will be 4 tiles. It's not a lot if you think about it that way. 10 tiles is very short. Getting them 2 more tiles is probably not going to change much. 20 tiles is very far. Giving them 4 tiles is not extra far. So giving range for 20% is not a lot. Anytime I see getting range for 20, 30, 40%, I think it's useless. If you need to give someone extra range, it better be like at least 40 to 50%. If not, you probably won't see the difference. Especially if they start out at a low range. So I don't think the second skill is really that great. Now, blinding the hero probably only refers to enemy hero's normal attack does not do any damage. Who cares? When you go on offense, your defensive heroes, you don't really care about their normal attack. You really care about their skill. You're afraid of their skill. Not most of the time, you're not afraid of their normal attack or their auto attack. And it seems like they will still auto attack, but it just doesn't do damage. So they will still come over and I don't know what are they gonna do. Tank you, but they don't do any damage. So it's kind of weird. Anyways, the next set is the Bio. This is another very popular set that some people told me they want. I agree. The first skill is very great. It nullify the target's ability to restore HP. Very great against Zhang Fei or Crazy Zhuzhou. Any other tank or sword hero or Zhuge Liang, anyone that can heal, this is very great. For 18 seconds, they are not allowed to heal. So what that means is you have 18 seconds to kill them and not allow them to heal. What is the biggest advantage of these? Fighting Shield Hero. Because the golden treasure for Shield Hero is extremely powerful. There's two attributes in that treasure that is very annoying. The one that gives you 50% HP once your HP reaches 50%. So basically you have a lot of HP. And then the other attribute is every 10 seconds restore 13% of your HP. If your shield hero get hit by this, they won't be able to use their golden treasure basically. Extremely powerful. Again, sword hero, they won't be able to use the HP restoration before they die, so they just die. Zhuge Liang cannot heal with his skill, and there's also the healing from the hero seal. All healing is not going to be applied. Now the next skill stops enemies' fury from generating for 10 seconds. This is not to stop their skill from activating. So there's a big difference. It depends on who you're attacking. If you're attacking Zhang Fei, that's fine, because if you get the second skill, I mean, what I'm saying is if you're attacking Zhang Fei, you don't need the second skill. You can let Zhang Fei use his skill because he wouldn't be healing. So it depends. Now, why is this not very attractive? Because some heroes, most heroes, I think most people put last stand on their hero, the hero seal. They put last stand. So before they die, they regenerate, they gain a fury anyways, and then they can use their skill. So in some cases, it will be very strong, but I don't think it's as strong as most people think it is. That's just my opinion. Because, for example, if you're fighting a Transcendent Zhuge Liang, before he dies, he goes invisible. You cannot damage him. He can then also generate some rage or fury with his hero seal, and then he can use his skill to attack you. Although when he does that, he will not be able to heal with his skill. So the first part is very important, more important than the second part, I think. So these are the four active sets the set for active skills. So a little bit review going over it. Ruler is a glass cannon build, high damage. You just want to bring your lord in and do damage. Azure is a very unique one, and for these active set skills, I think this one you really require your lord to have high DPS. So you need to be investing the equipment for your lord. If your lord has good equipment, they will tend to have more DPS, and the auto attack will be much more stronger. Soul gives you one extra target, and then the second skill I don't think is as necessary. So it's almost guaranteed that you probably want the first one here. You want the first set for Soul, and then Bio. You can pick. Obviously you can pick anything you want. So what are my suggestions? What are the ways to do these? So you can have 6 equipment. You can pick 2, 4, or 2, 2, 2 in terms of set, right? You can pick 2 equipment from each set or from 3 sets, and then you can get the first skill from each of the 3 sets you pick. Or you can pick 2 and 4, meaning pick 2 equipment from one set and then pick 4 equipment from another set, and still you still get 3 skills. One suggestion is, all suggestions starts with getting the first skill of Soul, because you want the extra target. You have that, and then you probably one choice is getting all 4 equipment for the ruler, so you have high damage. That's one way to do it. Or get the full Azure set. You just gonna do the auto attacking and play this hero like a different type of strong version of heroine. Do auto attack and do split damage and freezing. Or get the full set of Bio. And I just explained what Bio is. Or you can do the first Bio, the first Soul, and then probably not the first set of Ruler, because it just gives you a shield, and then the first set of Azure, I probably won't recommend that. So there is many choice you can do, but Soul, the first set for Soul is almost guaranteed necessary. And then you can pick the other ones. Now, the 4 passive skill, the first one, Void. Void, again, increase the range and then reduce the cooldown. So if you go for Void, you probably want the cooldown. All Lord starts with 15 seconds, so getting it down to 12 seconds is a pretty good deal. I mean, 12 seconds is much stronger, much faster than 15 seconds. Sometimes it depends on those couple of seconds. So the only reason why you want to go for Void is the 3 seconds. And you probably don't need the first skill. Now, Gale restores HP, 30% of HP every time your Lord uses a skill. But the second skill increase the damage, which is what I'm going for. Damage is always good. This set, I think, is a very balanced set, and also allows your Lord to be played more offensive and aggressive. Examples I'll compare these skills to is when you use Zhugliang or Shooter Taishi in the beginning of the battle to clear out some garbage items, buildings on the side. Why you use these two? Because they have the ability to heal themselves and do pretty good damage. So if you use the first skill here, you don't have to babysit your Lord with healers because they can heal themselves every 15 seconds. And but there is no reason to just go for Gale first skill. If you go for Gale, you probably want the 48% extra damage. The next one is Arrow. Arrow is also another very popular one. Now, the Violent Ring skill, the passive skill for Sharpshooter, already reduced the attack speed of enemy heroes by 40%. Getting the first skill bumps that up to 70%. It's very slow. 40% is slow, 70% is very slow. And then the next skill increase your Lord's attack speed by 90% and range by 40%. So this is like a mini version of Heroine. Again, if you want to use this, your DPS has to be strong, has to be high. You can use this on... I would think that you would use the first skill for defense and then the second skill on offense. But I guess you can use attack speed and attack range anytime. It kind of give you the ability to have a mini Heroine on defense, which could be a very helpful thing because you have higher range than most hero except Heroine. All heroes except Heroine. 40%, your Lord is going to have 7 tile, while Heroine will have 8.5 tile. 90% attack speed is fast, okay? Your Lord is going to have high DPS. Total DPS is going to be crazy on defense. Kill enemy hero fast, kill troops fast, because you slow their attack speed anyways. You slow the enemy hero attack speed. So this is very good on defense, I guess. I mean, passive hero is always good on defense. But if you're going to use the passive skill on offense, I don't suggest using this. Because on offense, the first skill is not really that important. Because again, when you go on offense, you don't really care about the enemy attack speed. You care about the enemy skill. So slowing their attack speed most of the time is not going to be that big of a difference, because if you fight against like a Zhang Fei or Crazy Shushu, they don't attack really fast anyways. It's their skill that makes it very difficult to beat them. And having the attack speed and range, yes, it's great. But if you imagine, how strong is Heroine right now? Heroine is actually not very strong right now because of the amount of HP the enemy buildings have. And even with the 8.5 tile range, she can be easily countered by a very strong Purgatory Tower, the Ice Chamber, or even Magic Crossbow. They can take a big chunk of her HP. With 7 tile, your Lord is even more susceptible and vulnerable to many more defensive structures. So the attack range and speed for that 10 second is not going to be that strong on offense. But on defense, I agree that if you can keep your Lord away from the enemy hero or troops, he can do much more damage. Now, last passive set, Ray. Increase the radius by 25% and increase the target by 3. Currently, or basic passive skill only targets 4 targets. having 3 more targets is a 75% increase. Extremely great. You're doing 75% more extra damage. Now, I find the design of these sets, the set skill, a little bit weird for 3 of them. Void, Gale, and Ray. The first skill is basically designed so that you can have your second skill. The reason why you need to have 25% radius is because if you increase more target in the original range, you probably don't have enough targets in the range. You probably don't have 7 targets in the original radius. That's why you need to increase it by 25%. Now you have a bigger area of effect. Now you can pick 7 targets in there. And then Void, remember what Void did is increasing the range and then decreasing the cooldown. Increasing the range is not really important. You just having this skill so that you can have the next skill, because the next skill is so much more valuable. And because of that, your first skill has to suck. So they kind of balance. And then Gale, restoring HP is more like so that you can use your Sharpshooter more aggressively. And for that reason, you are going to get 40% extra damage. So you can play aggressive, we're going to give you some HP. Now for me, I'm going to get the whole Gale set. I want extra damage, I will take the HP, and then I will probably get the first skill for Arrow, because I don't find the other set the first skill for other sets are great. Like Void. Void, you get the 2 extra range, I don't find it very helpful. Ray, you get the 25% radius. I don't find that very useful. So a lot of people want the whole Arrow set. I don't disagree, but then you have to pick a skill from the other 3. The first skill from the other 3, none of them really appeal. Maybe Gale is the one that appeals because you want 30% extra, 30% HP restoration compared to 25% radius or the 20% range. So, but I think going with either the whole Void set, Gale set, or the Ray set, it's a pretty strong, pretty offensive way, offensive play, and then you get the first skill for Arrow. If you get the whole set for Arrow, I think it's a very defensive play. So, and for the Sharpshooter's passive skill, I don't suggest going 2-2-2 because 3 out of the 4 sets have a pretty bad first set skill. So I would suggest going for 2-4, and I would suggest going 2 for Arrow, and then depending on how you want to play offensively and how aggressive you want to be, that will determine which of these 3 sets you want: Void, Gale, and Raid. But that's my suggestion, my idea. I do know a lot of people going for the whole Arrow set and then going for Gale or the other ones. But maybe you won't even use the passive skill on offense. You only use it for defense, and going for the whole Arrow and then healing is probably the best idea. But some people want to use it for offense, for the passive skill, which is what I'm going to do for now, because I don't have enough resource to invest in both skill. I'm going to do the passive first, and I'll try to use the passive on offense as well in my main account, because I have Shoot, Haishi, and Lady. So passive will work for me, active will work for me too. But this is it for this video. The next video will be on the Warrior, which is either going to be tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, depending on how much time I have to record these videos. But I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.